Hi everyone, welcome to Nella Vander's shop and your private painting adventure with the sea glass floats. Today we are going to complete this wonderful little painting, and I want to give a disclosure to the music that you will hear in the background. It is not mine, it's from Ray Lynch called Deep Breakfast. It's wonderful background music and I hope you enjoy it. I'll be mindful of the volume as much as I can. So today, hey, we've got your palette came in the bag, some paint, put it on your palette or paint right out of the little containers that were provided. I have a couple paint brushes that I'm going to be using. Hopefully they're about the same as what you got in your bag, right? And yes, hopefully you got a coupon, a little raffle ticket coupon to win a couple little items from Nella Vander's shop. One of them is a packet of paintbrushes, 10 paintbrushes, and a surprise little thing of sand because it's in the theme of the ocean, right? So I have some sand from my travels that I'm going to share with the winner as well. So let's get started. Apply a little bit of water on my brush. And the idea is that we're going to start at the top and pull down and keep pulling down all the way to the bottom of that canvas, because here is your sky, there is the horizon, and we want the bottom part or the beach to reflect the sky to give the feeling or the appearance as if this is wet, right? And so when something's wet, it's going to reflect what's above it or around it, right? So that's the idea. First, we're just going to pull some colors in and to make this kind of sky the way we want. I'll help you with that. Orange, a little bit of white, and a touch of black on my paintbrush. And you just start painting it, right? Just start painting it. And you might have to get your brush a little wet once in a while. And you can pull white in. Here's some white, just to make that kind of stormy yet somewhat peaceful sky. Those of us who visit the ocean know that, and have probably experienced that peacefulness even in the storm. And I don't want too much black, but just enough to give that appearance of a little bit of personality going on in the sky. And this would be the time that you'd want to paint the top of your canvas as well. Remember, this is part of framing your painting. So don't be shy about doing that. And it doesn't have to be perfect and have any real descript going on up there. No description. Bring it around to the sides. Okay. Now you might be asking, how far down do we go, right, to do the horizon? Well, in the case of my painting, I wanted the glass balls to be out front. So I want less sky and more beach. If you want your glass balls to be more down in here, maybe even a half of a one off of the painting, as if, you know, you took a picture and just part of that glass ball got in the frame, you can do so. Just bring your horizon line down a little further, right? So that is up to you. Good question, whoever asked that. All right. So in my case, I'm determining, you know, kind of about the knuckle, first knuckle, kind of the size of my index finger. You kind of mark it there. Right. Just put a little mark where your horizon is. That'll give you an idea. So when you get down to the horizon, it doesn't have to be a perfect line at that point. It can go over and blend because you'll come back with a bit of black to make that distinction. All right, so go ahead and feel free to just express yourself right now and get your colors going on your canvas. I'll keep the music going. Thank you so much for being part of my little adventure. Well, it's not a little adventure, it's quite the adventure for my little business, my little shop, my retirement goal, wherever the path takes me. Right? So sometimes having a bigger brush is a little more helpful for putting background on, because it can be kind of time consuming with a smaller brush. So as you acquire your equipment, and certainly future painting parties with me, we will need to have wider brushes, so you will be getting those eventually. But if you want to in advance, you might want to consider purchasing a couple wider brushes. They are in this form. You can get them in like 1.5, 1 inch to 2 inch. Right. But I like the process and kind of the quietness around putting sky on canvas, so I don't mind the smaller brush. Just kind of let that paintbrush dance across the canvas. Love that. I have just enough black up in there to kind of give that stormy sky. Whatever you'd like to do, there's not big rules on this. It's just a matter of blending the way that you feel you want your painting to look. So again, no right or wrong answers on it. Probably want a little bit of more orange down toward the bottom, kind of a brighter orange. Typically, this type of painting is done without blow drying, because I wanted anyway to create kind of that unfocused, unblended look, sort of. Okay. But if you want to, when you get done with your sky, you can blow dry to make a distinct horizon line. Okay, and I'm just pulling it down below my horizon line. I'm going to put a big splash of orange right where I think that sun is going down. See that? Just kind of just a splash of it in places. I can come back to that too once this is dry and put another little splash of orange on there to even be brighter. Right, so now I'm going to commit to my horizon line up here. I'm going to put mine about right there. And again, it's just going to be kind of this blend, not a real distinct horizon line, but just enough to trick the eye and brain into thinking that there is an end to this beach. There you go. All right. You see what I've done? Just put a very light horizon line. I can always come back to it and add a little bit of darker because I want to kind of splash my ocean in there a little. So I'm going to make that just a little bit more distinct with a little bit of question as to where that really is starting and ending. Just a little abstract on that. If you look at the ocean, you can sometimes see a very distinct line there, and that's okay too if you want to make yours stand out. So I'm going to keep pulling a little bit of black and white down in here to do some gray, so that way I have a little bit of the ocean coming in to the front part of the beach or of the painting. And if you notice, there is slight green in here, just slight. I just pulled like a little pinch of it as I was pulling it in. And that's okay too. And if you want to, you can go back up here while your canvas is wet and do just a little pinch of green. I will show you what that looks like. I'm going to need to make sure that I pull some white and just a little smidgen of green and put another little pile over here. There's that green. It's just kind of a storm green. It goes up here a little bit with the black. I don't want too much of that, and I'll show you how we get that way striking green out of there. It'll be fine, trust me. So you go back with your paintbrush and just a little bit of white or black. Okay, pull in. See how you can just kind of make that. It just has a slight little green to it. It helps when you pull a little bit of green into the bottom part of your painting. And the eye says, oh, okay, I get why that green is there. But you can't really tell the naked eye, probably. Yep. All right, let's keep working on this. Again, you're going to bring it all the way down here. Milky, milky, milky. Flat, bland. Don't worry about this. This is the last part that we do. And once we establish where those beach balls are going to be, I'll show you when we get there. So let's continue on our journey. Pulling these colors in to make that ocean for a while. Now, I'm going to really apply a lot of that orange, kind of that white in there. Just let it dart around and go up and touch that black. That's okay, because remember, you can always come back and add a little bit of darker back on that horizon. So no worries on that. Did you hear the heater click on? I hope that's not too annoying, but that's what that sound is. I'm kind of a lightweight when it comes to cold. I would rather be warm. I'm just playing around on my palette. See, my palette gets kind of messy because I pull in other colors and make a whole nother mound of color, so to speak. And I would just let my brain play around with, what is that looking like for Lori? So you determine it for yourself. on your landscape and seascape. Pull in colors by itself without too much blend. You want to kind of splash that sunset in there too, right? See what I'm doing there? Splash it in. Right, just back and forth. That's my method, is back and forth, but you can get really creative and, chop your water. You can have it be a little bit more stormy if you want. That's totally fine too. The idea is that we're going to highlight those glass balls. Lightly touching with the white, make those waves back there. Just lightly touch. You want to give the impression that that is the ocean back there. Just not some black line, right? There you go. Remember that green I was telling you about? You can pull in just a slight green into your orange and some white. And again, it's so subtle. Just keep playing around with your blending. It is your painting and your creation, and you get to decide how much of something or how little of something you want on that. So feel free to express yourself and have it become your masterpiece. Just let it dart around there. There you go. Just let it go. Remember your sides. It's easier to do the sides now than to come back to them later when the color changes. Things feel a little dry, go ahead and wet your paintbrush. Sometimes our smaller paintbrushes get go drier quicker because they're smaller. Right? And just keep playing around on your palette. Find those little dots of colors that make sense for you. Don't want too much green right where the glass balls are going. Bring that green in a little, it's totally fine. I love this one. There we go. cloud here. I want a little bit of that reflecting down into the water. So just a little bit of black kind of in here, right? See how that goes? Not a lot, just to show that I'm reflecting a little bit of the sky above. There it is, see that? Up here, down here, just a slight reflection of that. That's why we want to do a bright orange about right in here. Just keep going back and forth and back and forth until you find the right intensity on the color on your canvas. And just keep playing that back and forth. Breathing in and breathing out and enjoying the process. Coming down into the beach ball area. Going back and forth. Oh, I'm anticipating having some fun with those glass balls. Are you? Pulling in just a little bit of green and brown and black now down in here, because these are where this is the space where my glass balls are going to be. So I want a little bit of, not so much discoloration, but of a more of a, like where the shadow is going to be on them. So anticipate where you're going to put your glass balls and start pulling in a little bit of darker in that area. Not a lot, but just at first, you're doing kind of a place marker, so to speak, putting that in where you anticipate the glass balls to be. Kind of a little arc shape there. Anticipating the roundness just a little bit. Put them in there. We can do the shape of the shadow later. bit of green can come in there because it's going to be reflecting those balls. It seems like a lot right now. I know it's kind of scary. Just go ahead and pull in some green with some white and just keep playing around with that. You're anticipating where the shadow of those balls are going to go, and it's easier to do it this way than to try to piecemeal in shadows. Right? At least in this type of painting, you can have a lot of license to have boo-boos, really. You can make boo-boos in this. It's somewhat abstract and it's not a perfect situation. It is outdoors, and as much as there's a science and an order to things, there's also kind of this interesting chaos, right? Especially around storms. It's almost like all bets are off. So just keep pulling in where you anticipate those glass balls to go. And blending, so much blending, just natural blending in this painting. You just let that paintbrush come up here and do its thing, right? No clear-cut rules, just to have kind of that impression that you're going to have some glass balls there. You don't want to have that totally green across there. See what I did? I just went back and just played around and made a distinction of differences of space where I want those glass balls to be. And then keep pulling in your white and orange and bringing it back down to the bottom of the canvas. And it's okay to have a little bit of darkness down in here, just kind of a little, because it's like where the whole shadowing is going to go with those glass balls. Right? And keep pulling that across. Just keep pulling that. Right. Wow, I love it. Sometimes I don't do the bottom of the painting until I'm done because it's going to sit on my easel and sometimes gets a little sticky, so I come back to that later. All right. So you see where I put all that in, just kind of let the paintbrush dance around and feel the outdoors that you're looking at. Right, so go up here. Now's the time to kind of play around and bring in that reflective kind of stuff going on from the sun setting. The beach is one of my favorite places to go to. Look at that. Yeah, I'm sure you're doing this. Don't shake your head. You've got this. Ooh, I like that. just play around and let that sunset dance in between those little dark clouds up there. I'm going to leave my horizon alone. I thought about changing it a little bit, but I rather like it. Now's the time to come in and clean up places on the canvas that look to be a little bit thin of paint. Get in there and kind of touch those spots up. Right where I know that first glass ball is going to go is where I kind of make my mark. Scary. It's scary. I'll give you that. Don't be scared. You'll be fine. Where do I want those other ones? Got little smiley faces here. Or closed eyes. I'm not sure. Just establishing, because we can come back and play around with the shadows. Right? So now I want to pull in my green into another spot on the palette and make, oops, not too much green, pulling in some white and making that kind of that sea green. Right. I might need a little bit more white in that. Put a little more white on my palette. I started out with just a little bit. I'm hoping that I'm giving people the right amount of paint. I'm hoping I'm giving a little bit extra just in case. So see, I want to make kind of that